So basically, please, I'll talk about ecosystem. Talk about ecosystem. So what is ecosystem? This coin was termed by Tansley. A.J. Tansley coined this term ecosystem. দেখে না উপরে, হ্যাঁ দেখে না, হ্যাঁ ওখানে বসে থেকে কি হবে? আমি তো লিখে দিয়েছি ওদের। ফোন করে দাও তো। So ecosystem, basically some people call it as a, I am calling it under quotation marks, it is a community. It is a community of living organisms with their non-living counterparts or components. Living organism with their non-living components. I will note পাঠিয়ে দিয়েছি তোমাদের. It's in there in the group. And so the living living is microbes. The first thing is the microbes, plants, animals. So they are the living things, and the non-living components you can call air, water, আর কি হতে পারে, soil, minerals and soils. So basically these are all the components. And one more thing is that the non-living and living components interact with one another. They interact with each other. Living and the non-living components, they interact with each other. ঠিক আছে? মুছে দিই। Now to draw this particular ecosystem pictorially, to just to visualize it, you have the atmosphere. Okay, so in the atmosphere you have oxygen. Oxygen is taken by, say for example, let's call it a fox. Then we call it a rabbit. Then we draw grass. Grass grows on soil which contains minerals. Okay? Oxygen is taken by rabbits. Now grass is eaten by rabbit. Rabbit is eaten by fox. Rabbit and fox, they die and they decompose soil. Then they release CO2. Fox, rabbit, they release CO2. They take in oxygen, they release CO2. CO2 is taken by grass. Grass produces carbohydrates which are taken by rabbit, which produce, and this rabbit is eaten by the fox. And then the fox and the rabbit and the grass, they die and they decompose. So you have decomposers. And what they do? They release mineral in the soil. Release the mineral in soil. Clear? So there is the living component, non-living, and interaction. Living component, non-living component, and interaction. This is how you pictorially visualize an ecosystem. ঠিক আছে? Now we are going on to the components of the ecosystem. You know them, what they are. Components of ecosystem. What are the components of ecosystem? First is abiotic or non-living factors. Abiotic or non-living. You have the abiotic or non-living factors, and you have the biotic or living components. You have the biotic or living component. Abiotic factors can have. Abiotic factors are autotrophs or producers. The first thing, they are the autotrophs. They are also known as producers. They produce the carbohydrates. They are the producers. The first thing are the autotrophs. And then the next are the হ্যাঁ অ্যাবসলিউটলি রাইট আমি ইচ্ছে করেই আমি ভুলটা করছিলাম কেউ যদি আমি আরে জাস্ট দেখছিলাম কেউ এনিবডি আর ফলোইং অর নট ওকে সো ফার্স্ট ইউ হ্যাভ দ্য autotrophs. They are the producers. Then you have the heterotrophs or consumers. And third but not the least, the decomposers. They are also known as saprotrophs. Saprotrophs. And they are, the first thing are the inorganic components. Then you have the organic components, organic non-living components. And third but most important are the climatic factors. ঠিক আছে? They are the climatic factors. ঠিক আছে? খুব ইজি, কিন্তু এটাতেও লোকেরা অনেক ভুল করে। So, abiotic components. What are the abiotic components? Air, water, what else can it be? Minerals, soils. Why mineral soil active bolte paro? Minerals. Then you have light. Then you have temperature. The climate, rain, etc. All the non-living components. All the non-living components. And the biotic, देखले plants, animals, bacteria, virus, etc.
So virus के आपका biotic होगा, may not actually mean as
Biotic virus, you have you call it biotic only. Although when you take them out, they are basically they behave like non-living organisms. But when you take them inside the body, then immediately it becomes living. But it has got life at one stage of its life cycle, so you call it as biotic components. And recent researches, they say that it is very wrong to call virus as non-living outside the body, because there is minor metabolic processes, very slow, but still they take place inside the viruses. So এখনকার দিনে ওটাকে non-living entity outside বলা যায় না. Also, what do you call prions? This is the real doubt. What do you call prions? Prions are basically proteins. Just fatty protein, non-living. They enter inside the human or animal and cause disease. Basically, misfolded proteins. A normal protein in contact with a misfolded prion protein also gets misfolded. Different types of encephalitis and all these have been found. Prion diseases. But according to opinion, they are non-living organic components. It's like a medicine which a bad medicine, a poison. You have taken that poison and and this prion spreads because it changes a proper protein into a improper protein. And now, say for example, somebody eats your brain, you pick up that misfolded protein and you also get infected. It happened in cows. They used to take their meat, and these infected cows, they transferred these prions to humans.
So what about violence?
All are living components. Now we talk about producers or autotrophs. Essentially, they take CO2 from atmosphere or water plus sunlight or any light, and through a process called photosynthesis, they form sugars. Clear? And so basically the sugars, they form the backbone fuel of life. glucose. They form the backbone fuel of life, these sugars. So essentially they produce energy for other living systems to consume. One more thing you can say, plus minerals in soil they take. Chlorophyll করে সেটা। Photosynthesis takes place in the thylakoid membrane in the chloroplast. They contain a molecule known as chlorophyll, which has got a porphyrin ring attached to magnesium as a chelation complex. So whenever sunlight falls, an electron, which is a free electron which is present in a carrier called NADPH, nicotinamide adenine dihydrogen phosphate. So you have this, it releases an electron which becomes energized. So from a lower state it goes to a higher state. And as it comes back to the lower state, it keeps on reducing several carriers, and in between it starts releasing some energy, and that energy is used to make sugars. So one more important fact to consider is maximum photosynthesis over around 80% to 90% takes place in oceans. By organisms known as phytoplankton. So big forests may not be the lungs. The lungs are the oceans. বড় বড় গাছ আছে fine, but maximum it takes place in the sea, সমুদ্রে হয়. That is a very surprising fact, not surprising but interesting fact, I would say. Consumers. The next are the consumers or heterotrophs. They are the consumers or heterotrophs. They can be divided into primary, secondary, and tertiary. Say primary may be a frog. Frog can be eaten by snake. Snake can be eaten by, say, eagle. You can even have quaternary consumers also. For example, one insect, frog, snake, eagle. Now, since today is the World Ozone Day, not today, but today we are in our college, we are celebrating Ozone Day. One fact to mention over here is that, say, this insect takes plants, say some plants. Now, if you spray them with some chemicals, you spray them with 100 kgs, 1 kg of say DDT. Okay, and this DDT goes inside this insect. So, an insect will take lots of plants. One frog will take lots of insects. Snake will take lots of frogs, and eagle will take lots of snakes for their diet. At each step, the chemical gets magnified. So it's this is known as biomagnification. কোথাও হারিয়ে যেতে পারবে না জিনিসটা এখানেই পড়ে থাকবে। যত হার্মফুল কেমিক্যালস তুমি তৈরি করছো ওটা এখানেই পড়ে থাকবে, তোমারই ভেতরে আলটিমেটলি আসবে। It will come inside you ultimately. Whatever poison you are releasing into the environment, it is going to come back to you. And there is one more heterotroph. They are known as decomposers, or they are known as saprotrophs. So there are several fungi. You have microbes in the soil. Several bacteria. They decompose. Essentially, they are a type of heterotrophs only. So these are essentially the components today. Next day we will be talking about the different interactions, food web, food chain, energy flow in ecosystems. We will be talking about them. Now we have understood the components. There may be class 9, 10 staff, but you have get questions that students don't answer. তোমরা একটা কাগজে নাম লিখে দাও না। I actually